Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. If you are new here, my name is Sarah and we are a minimalist family who is living big with less, and today I have something a little bit different for you. My sweet friends Christine and Benet from the channel Real Organized contacted me because they wanted to try minimalism for 1 week, and so I gave them some of my tips. They've obviously watched all of my videos and gleaned some of what I use for minimalism, and they wanted to give it a really good try. So I'm actually going to react to their video, let you know what I think worked really well, and give you guys some tips and tricks about what I really liked and what you guys can try differently. My friends Christine and Benet, they have 4 children. They are a Scandinavian family, and if you haven't checked out their channel yet, please do. They are not minimalist as we are all the time, but they certainly have so many great tips for organizing, particularly with a busy family. So if you guys need some inspiration or to look at things from a different way, they have so many great cultural things that I really enjoy about their channel, so please check them out. I'll make sure I linked this video that I'm reacting to as well as their channel down in the box below. Alright, let's do this.
I just packed the last box. I'm gonna get these out of the house and then we're minimalists for a week.
Minimalist for a week.
Since we're moving really soon, we decided, why don't we just pack up like 90% of our stuff and live as extreme minimalists for a week?
We're just gonna go around our house now and give you a tour of what it looks like and what's missing.
So what I will say about Christine and Benet is that they were already very scaled down before they even went on this challenge. So they'd done a previous house tour. So if that is like you, where you're already scaled down a little bit, this going a little bit extreme or pushing yourself that little bit further is a great place to start, even if you feel like, you know, you live pretty minimally most of the time.
Up here.
In here, all the cupboards are empty. We took all the electronics out, all the board games out. Most things are gone from in here, and there are a lot less decorative items, even though this is probably the room with the most decorative items in the home.
They're probably more real minimalist than I am because they have a house plant, but I actually love that they've gone through and just gone through the process of choosing those decorative items that are the most special to them. And I think living like that for a little while, of just going through and picking out those most treasured pieces and allowing yourself to feel what it's like to live with less things out, is such a good place to start, because you don't actually have to get rid of those items straight away. Decorative items, if you can just see what it's like to live with a little bit less visual noise, that is a great place to start.
Some of the advice we got was to get rid of trash first and then use up what you have on hand. So we didn't have a bunch of trash lying around to begin with, but we got rid of some paper clutter and a few other items. What we have left in terms of kitchen items are these: 6 plates, 6 bowls, 7 glasses, baby items, and lunches. Stuff for cooking, like a third of what I had before. 1 pan, 2 pots. That's it. Those are all the kitchen tools that I have left.
I love that they've started in their kitchen. I think that this is one area where we can grossly overthink it and have way too many things than what we actually need. So one thing I will say about plates and things like that is that this is a bit of trial and error, and that you may want to keep a little bit more than 1 item per person in your family, just because otherwise, you know, you will have to wash after every single meal or every single snack. So that might be something to consider. But again, I think that having a practice with less and then reintroducing items that you need is such a great way to do it.
Other thing she also said was you can always borrow things. So if you need something for just now, then borrow it from someone you know. I borrowed a scale from my mom yesterday.
I absolutely love how crisp and clear their kitchen is. I am a huge advocate of, at the very least, keeping your kitchen counters really, really clear. And I think that cleanliness begets cleanliness. So this is a great place. If you were going to do anything, if you're going to minimize, extreme minimalist anywhere in your home, I would suggest kitchen counters.
The kids' room looks a lot different. There's hardly anything in here, and there's so many more surfaces that you can see. Now, Sarah said that when it comes to other people, you can't really declutter for them as easily, especially kids. So you have to give them some options. So I took out all the toys, took away the things that they definitely wouldn't use, and then let them decide what they wanted to keep for this week. Emilia decided to go with her Lego friends and some coloring supplies, whereas Lucas had his cars and his Duplos. And that's what they're going to play with for this week.
I absolutely love this. I think that kids can get really, really easily overwhelmed. And even if you didn't want to live this extreme all the time, you can actually set up a little toy rotation system, which means that you only have this amount of toys out at any one time. And then perhaps have a section in your garage where they can swap out the toys. This is really good, particularly if you have kids that like to pull everything out and dump it out, whether they're playing with it or not. So having less items on hand is a great way to manage that. It looks so good.
Why is it that the kids just can't fold their towels? I don't know how many times I've told them.
I'm glad that this is like a worldwide thing.
And get, like my makeup, for example. It's always good to use, especially in the morning. No, that's what it wasn't. In here, I had a lot more makeup. One thing she said, Sarah, was to keep the things that you use daily. So these are all the things I use daily, or at least every other day. And the rest I packed.
Okay, I absolutely love this so much because I think makeup is another area where you can way overcomplicate it. So of course what we wear day to day can be really different to what we would maybe wear on a night out, but I would encourage you that you can keep those day-to-day items separate from the rest of your makeup. You can commit to using up everything you have, and that way when you're going through those functional processes of like getting ready for work or just getting ready for the day in general, you've only got those things that you need right there, and it makes it so much easier to quickly get in and out, put a face of makeup on, and get out the door.
Also, it doesn't look like it, but all these baskets have maybe like 10% left in them. Bandages, 100% of them. We have kids, we need those. See, in here, all empty. Yeah.
Getting there.
Yeah, exactly.
So again, in the bathroom, when you see just how much clear space that they have there, a good reminder of how much you actually need is what are those things that you would take with you on holidays? As you can see, they've got lots of space there that as they get new things, there's space to breathe. So I would really encourage you, if you haven't already started with your bathroom cabinets, that is a great place. You're way less sentimentally attached to those items. And if you wouldn't need it to take on vacation, chances are you're probably not using it.
For the last few days?
Yeah.
And I like it.
I do too. I mean, I think I'm expecting to have a lot of inconveniences, like, oh, I wish I had that. Oh, I wish I had that. So I think my expectations for this whole process is that it'll be nice, it'll be a lot clearer, less like stress around me from like physical things, but maybe a bit more inconvenient. What do you think, Bennett?
I'm thinking the kitchen could probably be like just the plates and glasses and stuff. I think that's gonna be annoying.
I don't know. I really think that the kids are gonna be like learn to do their dishes after they're done using it. That's what I want, at least. Is when you're done using a dish, you clean it.
I think it's probably important not to give the wrong idea about minimalism, because I think there are probably a lot of different levels of minimalism, and I think just having one per person is probably the extreme of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's all about finding what works. It's been a week, and I think it works for us for a week. But granted, a week is probably way too little to determine if you can be an extreme minimalist.
I think that this experiment is so cool. I think sometimes that things can be a bit like a pendulum, and that as you people sort of swing one way or the other way to find a good middle ground. And by doing something that swings that pendulum a little bit more extreme than what you're used to, once you've sort of lived with that lesser amount, and then you can start to add the things back in slowly as you need them. So perhaps, if you push yourself to live, with clear countertops or way less toiletries than what you would normally have, pare down or try a toy rotation with your kids, that is a great way of really making those harder decisions about what you really need.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think there are definitely awesome things about it. There are some things that I was like, no, not gonna do this. One of the good things, two of the good things. One was Emilia. She always takes forever to get dressed. She's our 7-year-old. This week, it took her like a minute, 30 seconds. Like, up, pick out an outfit, get dressed, that's it.
This is what I am always talking about when I mean choose function first. So doing function over anything else, decor, a numbered amount for minimalism. And that is because minimalism really comes into its own when you start to live out your routines and it becomes more functional than having clutter getting in your way. So particularly for kids, they can move through those routines quicker when there's less items. So I am not surprised that this was a big one for them.
Because she didn't have a lot, so it's just so easy for her to just pick an outfit.
With regards to the kids, I think they actually handled it really well.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
One of the things
a lot better than I thought.
that Sarah mentioned was that you kind of have to give some time for like free play to develop, which we.
So when they asked me about what some of my, I guess, suggestions were, one of the things I said is that there has been a lot of research into the way that kids play, and it takes kids about 20 minutes to really start to involve themselves in play. So if you've got kids and you've been at the playground ever and they keep coming back to you asking for food or when you can go or can you do this or can you do that, and then you reach this sweet spot about 20 minutes in, and that's when they really start to engage in play. So if you are going to get rid of toys or maybe really reduce the amount of items you have in your home, just bear that in mind with kids, that the I'm bored or I don't know what to do may still linger around for that 20 minutes. But once you've given them a chance for that real imagination, necessity is the mother of invention, all of those good things to kick in, that's going to make it much easier for your kids. And you're not going to be worried about it because hey, look, they're going to need that 20 minutes of, grumbling or working it out. And then after that, they're going to really engage in the play.
We've also experienced, we definitely are not afraid of being okay with our kids being bored and them telling us that they're bored. But even though we removed like 90% of their toys, I think they, I didn't notice a difference.
They can make a mess with like no toys at all. Like it's amazing.
Preach.
That's something I realized. Like you can find that kids can make a mess out of nothing. One thing I didn't like was the dishes. I did dishes all the time. I've just done the dishes for the 3rd time today, and basically every single time I've been giving my kids a snack or grabbing a glass of water myself for the past few days.
Oh my goodness, this is what I predicted might happen when I saw that they only had sort of 1 plate and 1 cup each. I thought, oh, that's going to be tricky. And so again, this is about that pendulum swing, that when you go a little bit minimal, that's a great way to work out, okay, well, maybe we need 2 or 3 plates per person, but we don't need 4 full dinner sets. We don't need, a whole drawer full of utensils that we maybe use once a month. So I'm so glad that they brought this up, because I think that sometimes we get locked in on a number with minimalism rather than just seeing what we need, what's right for our family. So I love that they brought this up.
I had to do dishes after every meal. Before cooking, I was doing dishes a lot because we just had that 1 plate per person, 1 glass per person basically. And I know I said that the kids were gonna do it. They didn't.
No.
It ended up being me or you that did it all the time.
I so love that they are so real. I think that Real Organizer is the perfect channel name for them. But again, that they are pointing out that what is your reality is actually more important than what you thought it was going to be, because what you thought it's going to be is not what it's going to be day to day. So they've acknowledged that their reality is, look, the mum and dad are going to do the dishes the most of the time, and so 1 plate and 1 cup isn't going to work out long term. And just looking at whatever your reality is, if your reality is you need 10 pairs of scissors because your kids are constantly crafting in different areas of your house, 10 pairs of scissors it is.
So like you said, I think if we were doing this more permanently, we'd set up those routines better and just really teach the kids this is how we do it. And I think it would be easier then to just have 1 plate or 1 glass. But I don't want just 1 plate and 1 glass.
That was
a little too
I thought
extreme.
that was annoying. But also, we had definitely fine-tuned the number of plates and dishes and cutlery and utensils and what have you to match our habits, our like day-to-day routines, the size of our dishwasher. I mean, that was like a well-oiled machine, and we just kind of messed with that.
A great point by Benet there, that they already had a really good routine in this area, and the old saying that if it ain't broke, don't fix it is so true. And something that I think that we neglect, especially if you are looking at changing some areas of your life, is that you'll be like, oh, we have no routines, we have nothing in place. And it's like, that's probably not true. You probably do have some routines, and building on those is actually a little bit more helpful than changing and reinventing the wheel.
I mean, we were obviously packing up stuff this week. It's been quite stressful, as you can imagine, moving a big family from one house to another. But I think it was less stressful. Like, getting a bunch of the stuff out beforehand and then just giving the house a little bit of room to breathe. That was nice, and I noticed it, and I appreciated it.
Yeah, so, I did too. Like walking down the stairs in the morning into like the hallway where it's just clear, like no shoes lying there cluttering, like no bags lying there cluttering, and walking into the kitchen as well, and just like all the counters were clear.
A great point here about, if you notice that the areas that they really enjoyed seeing clear the most are those really functional spaces. So that area where they're coming in and leaving from every day, super duper important, and their kitchen where they're constantly returning to. If your kitchen is a mess, I guarantee you the rest of your house will follow suit pretty quickly. And the same with wherever you enter and exit your house most regularly. So whether that is, your front door or your garage, wherever that is, making that super functional and also just keeping it as clear and organized as possible, it's a game changer.
Our space, but
this was taking it to the next level.
There was actually like nothing on the counter, and that was so nice because we have a tiny kitchen. So I think especially in tiny spaces, it's really nice not to have basically anything on the counter.
This is a great exercise. I think moving into a new house where we do have loads more space than we do here, but I think there's a tendency when you move to just buy a bunch of stuff that you think would look nice. And I think this was a good reality check. We probably want to tone it down a little bit. Keep in mind the things that are nice about also just not having too much stuff.
Exactly.
I love this experiment so much, and I think that if you guys wanted to give this a try, whether it's that you're moving soon or you're just going to, maybe put some stuff aside and try living a little bit more minimally, it's a great experiment. Like I said, on that pendulum of having a lot of stuff and being an extreme minimalism, if you let it go that little bit further than what you are necessarily comfortable with, maybe really scale it back and then add those items back in, allow yourself to feel the space. It's such a great exercise at realizing what exactly that you want to use and what is just sort of hanging around out of habit, or you think you need it but you don't actually. Fear is a big reason we hang on to items, and so this sort of eliminates the fear and allows you to see items objectively. I absolutely love it. I think they did such a wonderful job. They really thought about, how their kids were going to function during the week. I did foresee that really scaled down plates and cups was probably going to be an issue for them, but I think it was great for them to just acknowledge that this is what they need and that what they had previously was working really well and that they can build on top of that. So maybe that looks like keeping the exact amount of plates and cups, but committing to keeping those counters really clear because that was something that they loved. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I absolutely loved my sweet friends, Christine and Benet's job, how they went minimal. I think there's so much to be learnt from this experiment. I'm going to leave their channel and this video linked down below. If you are new here to my channel, we would love to have you subscribe and join our YouTube family. I am here for you every single week, bringing you minimalist and simple living content. Here are some other videos I think you might like, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.